Okay. Yes, I think they were here to help us. They created us to help facilitate the advancement of the souls who weren't able to continue the advancement because they lost their planet when it exploded. And then Mars was destroyed and they had to come move here. And it was all part of the grand plan. I think it's good aliens who are in charge. It's not the bad aliens in charge. It's the good aliens in charge. And everything that's happened on this planet has happened to plan since the beginning. It may have been a little bit, it may have been more fucked up than originally planned. There may have been a lot more drama. That's what Lisa Renee says. You know, I guess originally the whole planet was supposed to ascend from the black hole in the center of the Earth, ascending us, but now we have to ascend the Earth just with our physical bodies with each other, and only like 10% of us can actually do that, or something like that. But overall, the general driver's pilot behind the whole program for the human race and advancement of our civilization are good aliens, and these, including the reptile aliens. I think those evil reptile aliens, I think they exist, but I think they're good. I think they're just fucked up for whatever reason. And you know, and Ross says that service to self aliens can exist up until the 6th dimension. Bashar is just moving into the 5th, from the 4th to the 5th. So then you can get, but I think when you say service to self, I think that's mainly just service to self. They help themselves, but they're not like out there evil, like, because really Michael Tsarion I think he gets into the whole idea of like the vampire, you know, they suck the life off of you, off of your, well, actually, I think that was Paul Winter who's talking about that. They suck all of your, you know, the life off of you, because they can't control it themselves, but because they can't, they're sick. So it's not, don't look at them like they're bad. They're just sick and they're trying to survive themselves. And it's the same thing with these, you know, the rich people, the royal families. They were just trying to survive themselves. You know, Marie Antoinette, ever since she took control of France, yeah, she and, you know, Louis the 16th, they were just trying to survive, just trying to do their thing. He just wasn't smart enough. And the French people decided that it was time to have a democracy. They wanted to be like America, and they just took them over. And the people had to kill him, because if not, they would have amassed the army and taken it back, you know. And they ended up getting an emperor anyways, and Napoleon. So, you know, it's like the lesser of two evils. You know what I mean? It's just part of the human condition. And as far as the ancient symbols, well, like Michael Tsarion said, since the beginning of time, only rich people were allowed to read, and only allowing rich people to read, and only, you know, not allowing anybody to read the Bible, and having the Pope be the guy who translates reality, you know, truth to you and all that, and you can't speak up and you have to pay them to go to heaven. It's all wrong, but normal people do it more than they do. Go to any church. Go to any fundamentalist church in America, and they're not going to let you interpret the Bible. They're going to try and interpret the Bible for you, and then try and get you to like just nod your head and agree with everything they say. It's not a classist thing. It's a human condition thing. And I know Michael Tsarion and David Icke say this. They go, yeah, oh, but it's all in the power of you, and it's all people who, you know, it's all the people's fault. Well, if it's all the people's fault, why do you have such a negative fucking attitude about mainstream media people and leaders in of like monarchical families and secret society people? Such an angry, negative view about them. They're smart people and they're just trying to help out, and they don't deserve, number one, they don't deserve that negative, all of that slandering, and number two, you're not helping anything by talking about them like they're evil, because you're just going to make normal, regular people angry at each other, angry with people like me, just for like saying something benign about David Icke. I mean, what if like one of Michael Tsarion's supporters come and watch this video about me and be like, oh, fucking asshole, he's in with the Illuminati, he's an asshole now, you know? When are we going to stop the circle going around and around and around? He's bad, he's bad, no, he's bad, he's bad, he's bad. We're all bad. Oh, it's all bad. Everybody's bad, 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 bad. Yes, the human condition. We've done some bad fucking things in the past, but the only way to forget about that and transcend that is just to forget about it and transcend it. And just lighten up, and to use Michael Tsarion's words exactly, is to just lighten up and say, yeah, you know, that was some bad stuff, but bravo to Tony Robbins for trying to help people, you know? But you know what, Tony Robbins, I have an even better idea, and that is that, you know, this, what the aliens say. Ever heard of the Bashar, Tony Robbins? Ever heard of the aliens? Let's, you know, just take it to the next level. Pat those guys who aren't as advanced as you and don't see the world as holistically as you do on the backs, pat them on the backs, tell them they did a good job, but then tell them that you have the next level, you know? And not to call them idiots, and not to say it's Mickey Mouse or that it's, because the number one emotion that we need now is positivity. Only seeing the glass half full instead of half empty. Love, and support for one another, and optimism, and setting an example for anybody who's getting into the idea that the world is a lot bigger than just this closed system on this planet where we're the only life who's ever existed in the universe, and that we don't know who made those monuments, but we don't want to think about it. Just take it. Oh, I just lost my train of thought. But yeah, these new people who are getting this new idea, not to like wake up to their machinations and not let them take control us anymore. Because the fact of the matter is, and this is what I wanted to talk about before, it's kind of a paradox. The rich families and these, if you want to call them Illuminati, monarchical, educated people who were the only people who could read for a long time, they're a lot smarter than everybody else because they're more educated. But that's pretty much the only reason, because they're more educated. They're still bumbling through life, and they're still confused, and they still don't know the best way to do things. Augustus Caesar was one of the best, I think, well, he was the 18th best, you know, leader of all time. And he was brilliant, but he still didn't know how to run a country. He still had no idea about economics. His decisions about taxation of peasants and managing money in public works were poor, because he was a human. And the same thing for all these people these days, and the leaders. They don't know what the fuck they're doing. They're just bumbling through life. George Bush, I honestly believe that George Bush, when he went into Iraq, was trying to help save the world. He was trying to save us from World War III. And he's not a bad person. He's a good person. And he's just, his ideas were ass backwards as far as, you know, you just want to teach by example and not go in there and kick their ass. But anyways, that's another video. But the fact of the matter is that they're not as smart as Michael Tsarion and David Icke give them credit to be. They haven't had this like plan to take us over since the beginning of time. They're just humans. The only reason they use all of these ancient symbolisms and symbology, you know, and Masonic, owl and the all-seeing eye, is because they're educated and they want to keep the legacy of these ancient symbols going. Everybody chooses. You know, you look. We all studied Greek mythology since the beginning of time. If any schmo would have started some little business in his backyard, he would. I mean, I worked for some stupid lady in Chile who called her company the Phoenix Institute. You know, so what happens if she just happens to do really well and ends up making a lot of money and has a big company, and it's called the Phoenix Institute? You better believe Michael Tsarion will be like, yeah, you see, Phoenix Institute. You see, it's because it's the Phoenix, and that's like what the ancient Egyptians used, and you see how the connection. You know, he takes it way too far. Everybody's going to use these ancient symbols. It's been here since the beginning of time. It just gets recirculated and reused and reused, you know? You had the A-Team, the TV show from the 80s, and then they make the movie now, you know? Back in the day, you'd have somebody make a movie, a story. Instead of making a new story, you just have it remade over and over and over again. Even Romeo and Juliet wasn't even original. It was a redo from an ancient Egyptian story. And so it's the same thing with symbology. You just redo it and redo it and redo it. It's just what we do. And it's not some like nefarious, well thought out plan to subliminally control everybody. It's just a way, it's just how we all do it. And it's just, you know, Nike just had the swish, and it just happens to be the same thing as, what's going on since the beginning of time. Now, if you want to start talking about the black budget of the you know, back engineering and who controls Area 51 and all this stuff, well, Dan Burish and these other alien contacts have told us that the people in charge aren't even human to begin with. And David Icke has said this. They aren't even human. The people in control, they're humans from an alternative planet Earth 52,000 years in the future who are siphoning off our money, or at least helping them figure out how to siphon off their money. Who knows? But anyways, all of that whole clandestinian like lying and all that stuff, it's all based off of that's how we live anyway. We all lie, and we all choose to make marijuana illegal. We all choose to make all these laws. It's all us. So if we want to change the laws, we have to change the laws. And then once we change the laws and we all say, okay, the aliens are here, well, then the aliens will come out. I think that the black government, with all the super soldiers and all the, disguising the B-52 bomber as a normal plane when it really has anti-gravity technology and all this stuff, and they can fly across the planet, I wouldn't look at it as a bad thing. I think it's just the government trying to figure out a way with the help of the aliens, who I think are good, because, Aaron McCollum, who's like the super soldier, said he saw Syrian aliens across the way in the hallway. And those are the good aliens who are hanging out. And so I think the aliens in charge of our black government who are doing all this clandestinian stuff are actually the good aliens. And they're just here trying to figure out, and maybe even with the help of the pharmaceutical industry, creating autistic children is probably maybe even a good thing, creating of all these autistic children. Creating bodies for extraterrestrial people to come in here and act weird and try to get people to open up their minds that there's other different kinds of realities out there and different ways to see things. And just trying to figure out a way to wake people up on this planet and realize that there's aliens out there and that they're not bad. And because we are so accustomed to thinking that the other guy is bad that it would not be in our best interests to find out that there's aliens here. And that's why I said at the beginning of the video that Michael Tsarion and David Icke are fucking 180 degrees ass backwards in their approach by saying that the Illuminati are bad and these evil aliens are bad. Because, I mean, if you're going to teach everybody that all the aliens are bad, then when people start to finally, if they're going to listen to you, then when the people start to finally realize that aliens are here, then they're going to think they're bad and they're going to freak out and they're going to be like, no, don't do this and don't do that. Oh my God, Armageddon. And then they're all going to buy guns and they're all going to be like so distracted that they're not going to have any energy left to just focus on all of the spiritual aspects of realizing that they're not alone in the universe and all the possibilities, the positive possibilities that we have in our society to live as long as we want and speak telepathically. And it's going to be based on fear and us like putting up, preemptive strikes and blocking yourself and doing this and not opening up and just saying, oh, it's all good. They're all good. There's no bad guys. And by having that idea that it's all good, there's no bad guys, you're not opening up yourself to like get destroyed. I'm not afraid. I make YouTube videos. I talk about whatever. And I have a positive attitude about everybody. Somebody hates me. I know that they're not hating me. They're just trying to expose my own ideas about myself. And then, if they hurt me, then they're just strengthening my ego by letting me realize that my ego is fragile enough to get hurt. And, it's all good. It's all good. Anyways, I'm out of time.